maybe after this film, it's a great film, but I still need a drink. Even if it's only water.
Yes, please, thank you. I was completely shocked by that last bit. Thank you for doing that, Patrick. Maybe, thank you.
It's beautifully edited.
It was. I was kind of a loss for words. Thank you. Thank you.
So, a question to start with would be, after you now have seen this film, after I think a lot of years that you hadn't seen it again.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't know how long, maybe 20, 25 maybe? I mean, a long time.
Can you judge it objectively? Can you watch it objectively? Or?
It's difficult, but I was able to watch her as an actress, watching, as I watch film, as objectively. And I thought she did okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I thought... I thought she did okay. Yeah.
I think more than okay. But let's start maybe. You didn't know Nicolas Roeg at that moment when he asked you to do the film. Did he send you the script, or how did your meeting go?
Yeah, he sent me the script. I had seen Petulia somewhere before that, and then I went to see Man Who Fell to Earth because I hadn't seen that, and then I thought, wow, with that kind of direction and that script, I thought, wow, I got to do this. I felt very strongly. I had this idea of not doing Hollywood films and kind of, going on another path, which that kind of fit the bill. So, yeah.
When you read the script, could you at that moment already guess or understand how physical and how tough this film would be? Because I can imagine that a lot of the things get developed while you were shooting.
I mean, a lot of it was there. I knew that I had to, go pretty far. And it was a challenge, but none of it felt gratuitous. I mean, it was about this obsessive sexual love affair. I mean, you couldn't, that's what it was about. Mm-hmm. So, you kind of had to get over that and get on with it, really, basically.
But at the same time, you didn't know the director that well, so you really have to trust him. You really had to put all your faith in the director, because this is a kind of tricky film that could be directed by somebody who is less sensitive, exploitation, like, for example.
I think I felt that before I said yes, I was able to talk. We'd had several meetings before, and I was able to understand his vision a little more, and I felt comfortable enough with him from talking. And then, of course, during the filming, we fell in love. So that
during the filming.
Yeah, during the filming.
Not at a specific scene.
Oh no, it was in Vienna. I remember before I had decided, I was thinking of accepting it. And Billy Joel had a song that was popular at the time. It was "Vienna Waits for You." I was like, "Oh yeah, Vienna's waiting for me," and boy was it! Yeah. So yeah.
In your did you know Art Garfunkel before?
No, no, never.
Had you seen his? Well, he didn't do many films, but he did. He did one film titled "Carnal Knowledge" with
yeah, I think
with
I
Jack
saw
Nicholson.
that, and then I think I saw Catch-22. Yeah. So I was familiar with his acting and obviously his music.
But he had little acting experience too. He was mostly a music star. Do you find it difficult? Do you see difference in acting with somebody who has, like, for example, background as a musician, performer, than somebody who is probably more, let's say, trained in the theater or in movies? Do you feel that musical?
I think it did make it a little bit hard at times. I think for him, maybe. If he had more of an acting background, it might have been he might have had more colors to choose from, maybe. I had worked with so many great actors. I mean, it was kind of like trying to help him sometimes, but otherwise, I mean, he was very brave of him to do that too. I mean, yeah. So,
were you aware of the strange, morbid coincidence that at the end of the shooting, his then girlfriend yet, took her life, and
yeah.
in his apartment, and then he was in, and then the police had to speak to him, which is a kind of.
It was crazy, right? Yeah, I mean, all I can say is it was weird. I don't
Must have
know.
been very.
It was shocking, and
it's like surreal, no?
it's very
That
surreal.
sort of reality imitates.
Synchronicities of that. Yeah, yeah, that was awful. Yeah,
Well, that makes his performance even better,
Deeper,
or more
uh-huh.
deeper.
I think so. Yeah.
And what I find extraordinary about these films, about this film and films in general of Nicolas Roeg, is that visually they are stunning. They are great visuals, but at the same time they always have very strong acting, because a lot of films that are either one or the other, but in his film it's really combined. And for example, from the start of the film, the first scene you see with Denholm Elliot and you, I was, again, when I see the film, surprised how strong Nicolas Roeg really can show you the essence of a marriage gone wrong.
Yes.
Without the word, just
I know.
how was he as a director? How did he direct that kind of emotions? How did he get it out of
He
his
would
actors?
just let the camera roll too. Sometimes, especially with Art, he would turn over and when Art wasn't aware of it. So he would just catch things when you'd think he had cut, but he hadn't. So I think a lot of times when you see those just looks, you're still like in character, but you're in thought, but you think you're not being filmed. So he did do that, especially with Art. He did that, but he was very good at just saying, he just wanted the essence. I mean, he just wanted to get to the core. Just any over indicating, or he just wasn't interested. He just wanted the truth. So yeah.
So it was in a way it's kind of simple way of directing. It's not that he was very a lot of theories about it or acting, and so that he
No, he had his
it
theories.
was very.
Believe me.
Oh,
The theory is more to tell you what his vision. You remember how he spoke? It
Yeah,
was
once-
very
once.
difficult. Sometimes he mumbled, and he also had this grasshopper brain. You had to really like follow where he was going. I mean, obviously over the years I got very used to it, but at the beginning it was like, I was like, what? This, you kind of had to sort of do telepathic communication after, but yeah.
But I think you had an example of something strange, of a motivation that he gave you that you weren't really helped by it.
To this day, the scene in the quadrangle where the one where he says you've lost your tan, it was written as a straight scene. It was. He later edited it like that with the voiceover, and but I remember, like, I don't remember exactly why Art and I were kind of having trouble. I think he rewrote it and then gave it to us like, a couple hours prior, and we were like struggling with it a little bit. And then I was going, what do you want? And then he looked at me, he said, hope and charm, darling, hope and charm. I was like, what the fuck kind of a direction is that, So anyway, I was like, hope and charm, okay. Anyway, the scene was beautiful. I mean, I don't remember it being as beautiful as that, so yeah. Must have worked.
What I was always surprised now when I saw the film here again, and also seeing it with an audience, there are quite a few funny moments too in the film. Between all the very heavy things going on, there is a kind of a humor sometimes.
Yeah,
and
playfulness, yeah.
Playfulness, and for example, the visit to the Czechoslovakian office and things like that. So that was also part of
I
Nick's
mean,
personality.
yeah, that, and then also it was the way I thought the character was. You know, I mean, I think she needed a contrast between the kind of craziness, but also her, you know, I don't know, freedom and just willingness to live life and enjoy each moment as it came. So I thought that was a fun part of her.
What is strange with films, and certainly with this film, is that when you see them decades ago, because this film is now 45 years
Yeah.
old, that or 50 or 45 years young, I should say, is that things that were perceived when the film was released were not that you perceive now were not perceived when the film was released. The whole vision about this male character and so was so differently judged at the time than
Sure was,
of
yeah.
course the terminology didn't exist too at the time, but now he is judged, and I think rightfully more severely than he was. The character.
Yes.
The character was in 1980, where I remember a lot of people talking about the film. It was like, she got some bad things, and he got some bad things too. But there was not this kind of really.
He
fact
crossed
that
the line.
He crossed the
Yes,
line, and
definitely,
sometimes he is really creepy.
it's very creepy. Yeah.
How do you see that?
I think I agree with you, but more people it was more about the sex and there were two unpleasant people, I guess. I mean, who cares about? I mean, and those were some things that were said. Mostly people in those days. You have to understand that kind of sexuality was not done at all. I mean, not in a more mainstream film, and now it's pretty, I mean, kind of common in lots of films. And plus the way he cut it, people were like, I don't understand what's happening, and why don't get it? Why don't they just say what it was? And I mean, that was like a big thing. He was like the first one to start changing the grammar of film like that. And now people look at it and they take it for granted, but really that was one of the very first films that was cut like that. And and also I felt that it held up. I was shocked. I thought it would be a little bit more old-fashioned, but it actually, I think it didn't. I think it did, right? Did you think? Did you guys think it did?
And also it's certainly not some films that are sort of very modern when they are made are not modern anymore when you see them 10 years afterwards. But this film doesn't have it. It's a real modern language that's very acceptable, and it's still very, very expressive and for our time. But the thing you said about the sexuality in the film, and also in the films of Nicolas Roeg, certainly in this one, but also in the other ones, sexuality and nudity is always a part of the story. It's and he tells more about the characters. It's not like in some of these films you have suddenly a nude scene and you don't need it.
Right.
But it's really progressing. And that's what makes it, I think, very, very, very stronger and very, very valuable.
Well, I mean, sexuality is very important in our lives, all of us. So, I mean, that was why. I mean, it's like why he wanted to poke that dragon, you know? So that's the way he was, definitely.
When you you said something about this intercuts with shortcuts, shots that suddenly interrupt the main action that you see, and the whole way the films are edited. Somebody said that maybe it's a little bit radical, but he said that if you would read the script of a film of Nicolas Roeg, it wouldn't make much sense on its own, or it wouldn't make the same sense on its own, because what he adds in the editing is a whole layer of richness and complexity.
Yes, for instance, in this one especially, though, I mean, I think that's probably true for most of them, but this was written very linearly, and I mean, for instance, the suicide part and all that did not come until the end. Like, I mean, the second cut, I think, was the ambulance, right? So that was like, he brought that right up to the top. It was at the, more like midpoint and on, more in like the third act. So, so I just thought that was pretty clever. I thought it was kind of amazing the way he did that.
The music is very important in the film, and all kinds of music. During the shooting, did he talk about music? Did you play some music, or were you to get in the
Actually,
mood? Or?
Tom Waits, I introduced him to Tom Waits, and then he ended up putting it in the film. He asked Tom to maybe write something for it, but he looked at the film and he said, I can't write anything better than, because he put his music track for the rough cut. So he would just use, the music that he wanted until the real music was done. And that was on the rough cut track. And Tom said, I can't write it better than what that would be, so it was very lovely that he did that. But he knew he wanted Fidelia. That was in the script. But I thought Clone Concert was so good in it. I mean, it was... And then the Canon Concert, that one wasn't used in weddings all the time. That was that was the first time I'd ever kind of heard that. So anyway, yeah, it's got a different connotation now.
I was also glad to see this film on a huge screen, because there are so many things going on.
I know, that was crazy,
when you watch it, and
I
even
really appreciated
on the
that,
television screen, you
Exactly.
lose all those dimensions.
It was beautiful. I really didn't appreciate how. I mean, it reminded me that the shots and the way it was gorgeous. The colors, it was very beautifully shot, I thought.
Yeah, and there are always things that you rediscover when you see the film.
Yeah.
Because it's like full of hidden things. Like
Little
now,
gems.
Little gems. Like now I realize that at some point there was some of the sitar music, like in The Third Man, that he used in the
That's
scene.
true, yeah.
That
Well, we
thing.
were in Vienna. I remember when he said, that's right.
And also I found interesting is the art, the two paintings. It starts with Klimt, and
Goes to Egon Schiele.
and then you see
Yeah.
Klimt, but the characters are really more
Egon Schiele,
than
exactly.
Klimt. So that's
I know.
that's a
The
nice
idealized,
yeah,
and then that's the way it really was.
So if we can go to the next film you did with Nicolas Roeg was Eureka, I think 1983, which I was told that maybe it was the favorite film of
I
of
think
Nick.
that was the one he loved of his the most. It kind of broke his heart a little bit that how that didn't get more recognized, I guess.
No, for example, in Belgium the film was never released commercially, so it was only afterwards on DVD, and even that was not a very wide release. But in that film is, for those who haven't seen it, you could say it's the story of a man who has nothing, then he wins everything, but he is still nothing at the same time, because of his enormous richness. He is actually completely empty, and you play his daughter.
Yeah.
How was it in your and the main character is kind of, I think, Shakespearean-like. You could compare it to King Lear.
He was very
It's
King Lear, yeah.
played by Gene Hackman, the great late Gene Hackman. How was it working with Gene Hackman, and how did you find your relation to the main character in that film?
I got along with him very well. He was a very difficult man, though. Now that he's gone, we can say these things. He was kind of. He made Nick insane, basically. I mean, he's a very difficult actor. He kind of fed off negative energy, so it was always just a struggle, everything. So and then he would say, I don't feel like saying that, and I wouldn't say it like that, and then he would go away, and then It was just really difficult.
Confusing too.
Yes, but I personally didn't have that problem with it. But Nick, I mean, it was hard for Nick to, because it just meant so much to him. Like, I mean, he didn't mind some improvising in, like, time. I mean, there wasn't much in Bad Timing, but some little time. He would give the actors a little more rein. But on Eureka, he did not want. He wanted it to be a very precise way, and the lines, he wanted it a certain way, and obviously Hackman's character was, he was the thing, the whole thing went around, so it was important to him.
What you say about him, that he wanted it, Nicolas Roeg, that he wanted it, the dialogue exactly as it was written.
Yes, it
was probably also, it was written by Paul Meyersberg, who I don't know if it was a friend of him, but he also did the script of The Man Who Fell to Earth.
Yes.
And his dialogue is very precise,
Yes.
and every sentence has a meaning.
Right. In those ones, yes. Not so much in Bad Timing, but like I say, he would give you a little more leeway. And there were some changes during filming. He would, like, kind of, I guess sometimes films you have it in your mind, but once you get on the, starting to do them, they change, and you have to be willing to go with it, with that kind of film. Not with Eureka, that was a different story, yeah.
Eureka has a lot of great scenes, but for me, one of the great scenes, and also a scene that has been very criticized, is the trial at the end, because some people probably wanted something very realistic, but it gets complete. It starts as a very conventional trial, and then suddenly it becomes like the love life of the two characters is on trial,
Yeah.
and of you and of your co-actress Rutger Hauer, who is very well known here because of his Dutch films he made.
Of course, yes.
How was his approach of director was for these scenes to act those scenes, because it's not your classical courtroom drama anymore. It makes it like a little bit dreamlike, or
kind of. It was just a long monologue that I had to memorize, and it was tricky. I think I only did one take of it though, and the film ran out of camera. The camera ran out of film before I even finished the monologue. I think we did it twice, but it was like to get it, the momentum of it. I remember that being like difficult, but I mean, I did it. I mean,
Sure,
yeah. I mean, so I was glad that I mean, I don't know what to say about it, actually. It was hard, but I did it.
But the fact that it looks so strange is also because the light changes. It's like the background suddenly becomes dark. It's like you are.
But that was in the camera. He didn't cut. So it was just, I just had to keep on with the monologue and the emotion, and just like, it
difficult.
You had to be in the zone.
Your next film with Nicolas Roeg is Insignificance. That's when for this film I met you the first time in Cannes at the festival. Had the pleasure to interview you, interview Nick. Couldn't choose the interview because it was too, as you say, it went all the.
It was
mumbled all over the place.
All over
Anthony Curtis. But of course, the question is here: how did you attack a character like Marilyn Monroe? To you,
well,
one of the best-known women in the world.
Exactly. By turning it down first. I didn't really want to do it. That seemed like a minefield to me. I was like, and at that time, like Madonna was being Marilyn, and there were like 3 or 4 other Marilyn things, and I was like, oh, I don't want to, like, what the fuck? Anyway, so the producer approached me before he approached Nick, actually, and I really did not want to do it, and and then I loved the play, however, and but it just seemed like a caricature of a caricature of a. It was really hard to get my head around it. And so, but then he approached Nick, and then Nick and I talked about it, and then Nick said he wanted to do it, and so then I guess I had to do it. And so then it took me a lot. It was like a big brain thing to find my way in. And so I finally figured out that she was this persona. It wasn't the real her. This was this thing that she invented. So I could play this thing that she invented. But behind scenes, she would drop that. She would be this other person. And so I did a lot of research on her personal life and her childhood and all that. And I kind of thought I could find this other way in that the real person that in interpretation, my interpretation of who this woman was, that was how I chose to do it. And it worked for me, I thought.
It worked in the film because it would be so easy to do a caricature.
Yeah,
because
that's
she's
what I
always
just did not want to
pastiche,
do.
or that's what you always get. And
That's why I was so shit scared to do it. I was like, no, I don't want
she became a real person. She
Yes,
wasn't
she became
the
this
myth
person.
anymore.
Yes, no. I mean, it was definitely. This was just this thing she did, I mean, but
With the high voice.
and the tits and the thing and all of the hair, blah. But really, there was this other person that I wanted as an actress to know and to portray. Yeah. So.
That film was based on the play, and it's also probably therefore the film that you did with Nicholas that is the most verbal and the most kind of confrontation between characters and all that. And did you enjoy that to do a thing that where performances, I suppose, are less intercut with other things? It's really the performance that
because it was a play. Yeah, I mean, you had to honor the play. So, yeah, I did like that. Yeah, I liked what it said. It was an anti-war kind of a film. So ultimately that is the message about it. So
it was about the things that are now back.
Very kind
the
of relevant,
war
aren't
and
they?
and the McCarthy period.
Exactly.
That's just, we are in it again.
And the atom bomb, someone might just decide to do it.
Yeah. So also strange how films become sort of more more part of the reality than they were when they were made.
It's so true.
One of the scenes that one always talk about, of course, is the funny scene when you have to explain to Einstein what he was famous for. Did you yourself understand the theory, but the way you did it, or was it something you had to study?
I had to study it. Yes, I know. But I mean, that one you had to be very precise with the memorization because it's a play, but also you had to get all of it right. It is the theory of relativity, after all. There would be no improvising there.
And you did it with
with the toys.
With toys.
And that was kind of fun, actually. I enjoyed doing that. Just making it, just being in it and doing it. I'm going to show Einstein that I understand this, and I thought it was fun. I liked it.
It's also, in a way, in some scenes, a very violent film. The scene where Tony Curtis' character, the McCarthy character, stumped her in the stomach. It's really shocking, knowing that she is pregnant.
I know. Yeah, I know.
A lot of people were shocked by that scene.
Were they?
Yeah. More than by kind of, because it's sort of violence that's more close to reality than a lot of sort of serial killer violence.
You're right. There is more of that kind of violence. Yeah, I didn't think of that. But yeah, and Tony was such a nice man. He did not want to do it.
No. We had the honor and the pleasure to receive him in Gent at the festival.
Oh, yeah?
For another film. For the he was here with. No, I'm thinking about it. No, it was just a guest of honor, and he had a lot of stories about Hollywood.
He's got lots of
People were
stories.
laughing and laughing, and he,
Yeah. He's
so,
a good raconteur, that's for sure.
Was he like this with his colleagues too?
Always. Yes.
Kind of super professional.
He didn't actually like Marilyn. He told, because he, of course, in Some Like It Hot. So I thought that was amusing. He didn't like always having to wait, and she was kind of a pain in the ass, I guess.
Then you made not a feature film with Nicolas, but just one segment of a film that was made by 10 different directors. Every director chose a favorite aria and put his fantasies on the aria. And what was strange here, that it was about a king in the, I think, beginning of the century, and the king was played by you. How did that come?
I don't remember how that happened. I do remember that he had this other idea for that segment, that it was just like everybody told us like, and then I had told him like maybe a year before that, this I just stuck in my head that the only head of state that ever shot back at his assassin was King Zog of Albania. And for some reason that that just stuck with me, and I told him that. And then all of a sudden he gets the idea that that's what he's going to do it about, Umbala and Mascara. So I think then it kind of morphed into me being King Zog, because of the aria being about behind mass, and nobody really knows who anybody is, and I don't know why. That's kind of just happened. It doesn't. I hope. I don't know. It was fun.
It's like the most beautiful woman with the moustache since the Mona Lisa by Marcel Duchamp.
Flattery will get you everywhere, Patrick.
Next film was Track 29, also a very strange film, also very funny, but also tragic, comical, where you play, we could say, ordinary housewife, a little bit frustrated, in a kind of suburban America, in pastel colors. So it had a kind of satiric angle, but at the same time there was a strong theme about motherhood and about because there is the kind of lost son that suddenly appears. Can you talk a little bit of what that film meant to you and your work with Gary Oldman?
The writer, remind me the writer's name? Oh, it was a famous writer who did Singing Detectives. Yes, and so that he was an amazing man, and he had this horrible arthritis that was just crippling to him, and he said that he had to spend so much time in the hospital that he would fantasize about these big drama, these scenes where everybody was dancing, and so this one wasn't like that. But again, the cadence of the dialogue was really important in that one too. You needed to say it in a certain way, the way that that was the way to your hook into it. And so, and then the thing about the apparition, him being there or not there. How I got more into that was the trauma of the rape, and they took her kid from her without her. They just took it away from her, and she never really recovered from that. So, so that's kind of where I went with that one.
It had a great kind of an outsider's view on a sort of American silliness, because a lot of the things in the film are very American, you know,
Yes.
like the man with the trains,
trains
and you
and
have
the
like
Track
a
29.
great rally or a conference about trains, which looked like a kind of military operation. So it had all this very strange thing. That's all Dennis Potter's work, of
Yes,
course.
it's Dennis Potter,
But,
yeah.
but that was that fun to do, to be
Yes,
in.
it was. I enjoyed doing that. I mean, it was. What was I like that she was so he left the ending kind of ambivalent, but in my mind, she got free. So, I mean, he left it like, did she escape from this, and was she able to, get on with her life? And I think she did.
And she's suddenly glamour queen.
Yeah,
She
she
goes
just
out
left.
like a
It's like,
Hollywood star.
I'm out of here.
Completely dressed
Yeah.
up and
Yeah.
so I think it's a very funny film, and
Yeah, it is.
and the whole
It's supposed to be.
the very the kind of silly things in America that at the same time are funny but a little bit ridiculous too.
Yes, look at our president.
That's not a little bit ridiculous. Yeah. By the way, I thought the orange hair of David Bowie and the Man Fell to Earth is much nicer than the one we know.
I do agree with you there.
Then Cold Heaven seems to me a film that was not 100% what it should have been. Was it due to the script, you think? Maybe just say for people who haven't seen it, Cold Heaven is maybe the most literally spiritual film of Nicolas Roeg, because I think a lot of his films deal with it, but here it's about
Out there,
nuns and
yeah.
about a resurrection. So you have all these big themes of Christianity that the film plays with in a kind of horror-like way.
Yeah.
The fact that the film was not really completely successful, was it due, you think, to the script, or was it the way of the filmmaking? Was
I'm
it?
not sure. That one came about.
And do you agree a little bit with it?
I do agree. Yes. Yeah, not his best. If that's where you're going with it, I'll say it. That one of his very best friends is Alan Scott, who was then Alan was friends with Brian Moore, who wrote the novel, and it just kind of came about like that. All of a sudden it was like, okay, yeah, let's go do this. So it was, sometimes films are like that. You're just like, that seems like a good idea. Let's go shoot. Like that was sort of like that.
Maybe if we not time to go back a little bit in time, or I just wanted to know, you were born in San Diego,
Yeah, I was
lived
born
there?
on the naval base there, but my mom was only 17 when I was born. I was like my dad was in the Navy, so I was there, but my mom and my dad were raised in Burbank, California, and then I went when I was very little, went back to Burbank. So.
And was there something in your youth that that made you predestined to become an actress, to go in the movies? Was it?
I mean,
were
I
you
think.
stimulated by people? Or?
Well, what happened was I'm the oldest of 5, and I have a much younger brother and sister. And I had to look after my little brother after school. And on the TV, we only had like 3 channels, and one of them was KTTV, Channel 11, and they showed old movies constantly. So this is like I'm about 12 years old, I guess. So, so when I was looking after my baby Chaz, my brother, I would watch all these old movies, and I would especially the film noirs and the femme fatales, I just thought they were just wonderful. And I just kind of got immersed in that. And I started having this little idea that I think I could do that. And I wanted to do that. So that's where it started.
But then it's kind of astonishing that your first break was with an incredible film, The Last Tycoon, after the unfinished novel of Scott Fitzgerald, directed by Elia Kazan, scripted by Harold Pinter, great cast. It must have been very, impressive impressive for you to start with that kind of prestigious film.
I had I left home then at 16. I started studying at Lee Strasberg Theater. So from 16 to, and then I was 18 when I got it. So I had studied for 3 years, and everybody wanted that part. So I actually knew someone who knew someone, and that's kind of how I didn't have an agent or anything. So yeah.
Like
I was, what you mean, like overly, I wasn't, I mean, I just felt like I needed to do my job. So I couldn't like relate to all these famous people.
Yeah, I meant like intimidated.
Yeah,
because
intimidated,
You had Robert
yeah.
Mitchum, Robert De Niro,
It was so cool being Mitchum's daughter, though. That was so cool. Mitchum he was an amazing man. He was really cool. Yeah. The whole thing was pretty awesome, actually.
I think it's a very good film and very underrated because it's rarely reshown or revived, and it's
his last film.
His last film, yeah. And also because you said you studied with Lee Strasberg, the school. Was he still there, Lee Strasberg?
I did a couple master classes with him, but primarily I studied with other teachers there, yeah.
Because then, of course, your first film is then with Elia Kazan, who is like also one of the key figures in the actor studio, the method acting.
Right.
Did you talk about that thing with him, or did he just
about method acting?
Method acting?
Sure.
Was he somebody who sort of pushed you to that, or because there must have been actors who really don't want to act in that way?
In that way, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, listen, I was green as this sofa. So, I mean, and that's where him as a director knew, because I was trained in that, how to get me to understand the emotions, because he was an actor. He was a member of the, what was the name of that group that they were on?
The group theater.
The group
Group
theater.
Theater,
Okay, yeah. And so that was his training and love was Stanislavski, and so I mean, I'd studied Stanislavski, I read all the books, so he knew I knew that language basically. So I mean.
And did the study of that help you as an actress, or was it something you say? Well, I was curious to know it. Did it really help you in your profession?
Oh hell yeah! Oh yeah, I still consider myself a method actress. Yes. Oh yeah.
So that stays with you.
Oh, of course. Yes, that was my foundation of how do you begin. Yeah. And they go from the emotion for you. You build the character from the inside out, not from the outside in. So that's definitely how I work, for sure. Yeah.
And if you work with actors that are completely kind of don't like that method or don't know anything about it, is that difficult to do, or is it just for enough that you act like that? Or is it better that the other actor has the same background?
I mean, you just learn to, kind of do what you need to do. It's like there's hundreds of people on a film set, so your job is to know as well as you can what you're doing. And then obviously when you get there, you have to maybe throw it away to see what happens in reality. But you have to come with some kind of a structure and a plan, so that's usually how I work anyway. But I mean, they make fun of it. He's like, "Oh, my dog is dead. My dog is dead. Okay, I'm ready. Turn on the camera." So I mean, they do make fun, but I mean, it's kind of true. You can do that.
Can you give an example where you really needed to?
Well, usually I'm lucky enough I can use this. If I'm in the character, I can use the real scene. I'm so in it. I mean, they call it acting without the net. You just you're in the scene. You don't. But sometimes, hey, it's like you got to cry and you just can't get there. So my dog is dead. And then you're like, okay, I'm ready.
You mentioned looking at film noir, at television, and things like that. Actually, you did one very good film noir, I thought, was Black Widow, by Bob Rafelson, with Deborah Winger as your co-star. How was that how you look back at that film adventure? Was it nice
of that.
experience?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, Deborah was a little difficult at times, but
She has a reputation.
But actually, we had one little thing kind of in the beginning, and I said, "Really, you want to do it like this? We can do it like this if you want." And then, but she was like, sometimes it was hard, but then she didn't. I mean, after that, she was good. So, it was like working with another proper actress, and she's a good actress. So yeah, I don't know why she need all that craziness.
Yeah, it's a pity that she didn't do that once she was, at some point she was a star, but she didn't do that many films, I think, afterwards. Maybe because she was too difficult.
Maybe, sometimes.
I'm not going to do your whole filmography,
Please not.
but another film I'm curious about your experience is Whore, by a film made by Ken Russell, who in a way is, don't say related, but he is also a director who makes films that are not realistic and that have a kind of other dimension. Therefore, he's sort of close to.
Yeah, he was put in the same English. They call it enfant terribles. The English. So he was in that same kind of generation, but completely different. Yeah.
But somebody said he's the same generation that somebody called a critic, I think, who wrote a book about Nicolas Roeg. He called it the mad poet tradition.
That's good, yeah.
As a contrast to the realistic and Loach and all the documentary kind of.
Right.
But how was he? I met him a couple of times. I thought he was very flamboyant and extravagant.
Yes.
How was he as a director to work with?
He was. For me, he trusted me. I mean, he kind of wanted me to like guide him a little bit in that. That was a tough film though, because she was so unhappy, and like every day, the method thing, you've got to like go there. So that was kind of taxing by the end. And then all those monologues it was just, and also everything was to camera. You're breaking the fourth wall the whole time. So that was kind of tricky. But Ken liked to be right there next to the camera. So that was cool. I kind of liked, I was like, okay, he's right there. I can do that. So, yeah.
He can correct you immediately then.
Yeah.
When he has a smiling.
And I could feel the vibe, even though I wasn't looking at him, I could kind of like feel if he was in it or not in it. I was like, okay, so if I can catch him, then I'm doing okay.
But that film was barely seen or shown. That film was.
Yeah, probably. Yet again.
Okay.
I like doing weird films. What can I say?
But that's good. A lot of weird films become cult films, and they survive sometimes longer than the so-called big commercial success films.
Yeah.
Something completely different. Is it true that you, at some point, you were also performing as a jazz musician with your partner, Michael Melvoin?
Mike Melvoin,
But
yeah.
I wasn't aware that you also played with him.
Yeah, we did. I mean, I can't say I ever got to the great jazz singer, place, but yeah, I mean, one time I found myself in New York singing jazz, and I was looking at this huge window and looking out over New York. I was like, the fuck did I get here? I was like, of all the imagined scenarios of my life, that wasn't one of them. But I adored him very much, and I miss him still terribly. But he was, I mean, he wanted to do it. So I was like, okay. It was fun.
You had a career as a musician too?
I don't know if it was a career, but yeah. You're embarrassing me.
Another Nicolas Roeg, actor who was a musician.
Yes, there you go. I did it backwards.
Backwards, yes.
That's very funny.
Well, thank you, Theresa, for
Thank
this.
you, Patrick, too.
We have a little surprise.
What? You already gave me a surprise. What now? What are you doing? Oh.
Can I just say, on behalf of the Filmfest Gent, it's a great honor to bestow you with the Joseph Plateau Award. and Joseph Plateau was a Belgian, again, he was from Ghent, he was a professor, and he was studying physics, and he made one of the sort of installations that were the predecessor of cinema, so of the moving. And as it's the end of the festival, I'm not able to pronounce the correctly, but Wim de Witte knows it, how to pronounce the object. Oh, okay. But that is, what is it, Wim? Okay. Yeah, it's a little, it's too late. But we are really glad to give this to you for your, I won't say career, but I'm sure that's not the word you like to hear, but for your excellence in and your superb acting, and also, importantly, for the many characters, rich, layered characters, complex characters that you portrayed in films, women who are, who sometimes are victims, but who also survive, women who are funny, women who are sometimes a little bit crazy, but who are very human and who really make, well, that's really what I said in the beginning, an all-round character, like a person you could really, and you hope to meet in real life. En u ook, publiek, bedankt voor de warme ontvangst van Theresa Russel.